Okay, it's still me. Still Annalisa here. Okay, I'm super excited that you guys jumped on for this pop-up because it was something that I wanted to start doing a little bit more randomly here and there. And if it's needed, I'll keep doing it. And just like anything, right? If you guys like it, we'll keep doing it. Um, and I thought we would go over today really quickly elevator speech. And I'm going to be honest. So, I was recently in a little for a 4 to 6 day training, and some of the things that were going to be talked about were very, very basic. And part of my little negative mindset was like, so basic. We've all done this. I remember teaching mindset, belief, all the typical your whys and pop-ups for what I mean, whatever, all these different things, elevator speech being one of them. And I kind of had a negative attitude. And I was like, well, this is the same old, same old. But the truth is, there are some basics, right, that you just kind of need to go back to in your business and revisit, because if you don't have them down pat, it can actually affect your entire business. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed talking about this again. And even though I've given many speeches for elevator speeches for all our previous low ticket sales, I was like, you know what? It's time we do one again for Enagic. And my goal behind it really is that you're confident, because this is the thing. We don't even, we all go through different times where our belief systems are down. Like, sometimes we have a killer week and we're like on fire and we feel like we could tell the whole world anything. And then you have a low period and you're like, you know what? It's not coming across. Like it's not coming out the same. And so my goal for you tonight is we're going to go over how confident do you feel sharing about the actual product, the K8 machine, and how confident do you feel about sharing about the comp plan? And if you don't feel confident about sharing about the comp plan, you could be missing out on business builders. And I know there's times in my life too where it's like, well, I don't quite understand it all, or you think you need to understand it all. That can stop you just as much, right? Oh, I need to know everything before I share that. No, that's not true either. So there's that fine line. But I feel like if your belief isn't at least an 8 or more in these things, it's not going to come across. And we want to be as confident as we can in both. So I thought what we would do is kind of, I'm going to ask you guys straight up and just be honest. It doesn't matter. It's okay if you're like a 3 today, because I mean, next week I get it. You can be a 10 in these areas. But I just want to honestly like ask you ladies, like how confident do you feel in what Enagic is, the actual water machine? Ariel, start. You go first.
I would put myself at probably like 6 or 7. I know all the benefits that I love about it, and I know why I believe in it, but I'm sure there's much beyond that that I'm not catching on to or that I'm not sharing.
Okay. And you are a very detailed, healthy person. So I'm finding it surprising that you're only giving yourself a 6. I think you have to probably know more than you think you do, but.
Well, maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Okay, Melissa, how about you?
I would say maybe like a 4 or 5. Like I'm very confident in like what it does for myself, for my family and stuff like that. But as far as going into like the plates or like the more technical stuff, I don't feel like I know any of the technical stuff. So like I can speak from the emotional part. I can speak from like that part, but I think I would lose anybody that had more in-depth questions.
Okay. So you know exactly what you need to do some research on. So that's awesome. And that's, yeah, I think that's probably where a lot of people are at, which isn't a bad thing. Because when you think of, well, I'll save that for my next question. Rochelle, how about you?
I would have to say I'm pretty confident in the machine overall itself, but I'm still learning just some more scientific terminology within it. But I have no lack of confidence of what it does. I've replaced everything in my home for what it does. So
love it. Love it. That's awesome. Okay, Naomi, how about you?
Mike, let me find the mute button. She's coming for me. So I probably will put myself there like about a 5 or 6, less about the machine itself, more about the nutritional aspects and what the water can do for the body and the brain, right? So
yes.
I feel like also you guys are so supportive, and I know that you you're there to help any moment. So I don't any longer have that fear of introducing it and then being able to like hand them off.
Ooh, good, good. I love that. Yes, because that's important because a lot of times people get stuck, like I was saying, in the I have to know everything before I get there, and we really don't.
Yeah.
Okay, before I ask how confident you guys feel in the compensation plan, I should ask you this. Do you remember what it was that sold you on this water machine? Because we all are addressing different people. We can all be confident in certain areas, but like Melissa, I'm thinking when you're saying that and you're saying, I can tell you what it did for me and how it touches me, I'm assuming you probably got hooked on a feeling or an emotion or what it did for someone and probably don't care so much about all those little like like what is it, or was it the checks that someone held in their hands? They're like, what is this machine? I want to know why they're getting all this money. Or was it, like what is it that drew you guys personally to look at this? Let's start again, Ariel.
So for me was the idea of being in network marketing prior and having like always having that push. So I was drawn more to the finance side. Obviously I love health and all of that stuff too, but I was drawn to the finance side and just the benefits of like the no deranking and like you're not making that push every single time and you're not trying to find the same buyer to keep buying, so that was my drive.
I need to write that down. I like the way you said that. That hit me because I say that, but I don't say it like that. The same buyer to buy. That's a good one. Okay, good. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Melissa?
So initially, the video that I watched about the water and how bad all the different things that are in the town water and stuff like that, that's what hit me first. So the emotion, like you said, Emily, so the emotion hit me first. But then when they went through the comp plan, like the deranking, that was a huge one coming from the MLM background.
Yep.
And then also the potential, like it's never ending and it keeps building, and then the family legacy. So again, it kind of it drew me in on the emotion, and then it went into the potential, and then it went into the emotion again right at the end.
Right, right. That's good. Rochelle, how about you?
Mine is definitely the health and wellness side of it. We have been doing that for years and kind of thing. And so knowing that my boyfriend had experienced with it before, we finally just had kind of taken the jump. And then knowing that it can bring generational wealth, we were like, this is a no-brainer. We must jump on now that we have the possibility to. So really it was mainly the goal to get it for my mom before, which this is awesome news here. She doesn't have the machine, but she's been getting water from Annie because I don't live in Michigan, and she's able to stop her chemo medication right now because she's able to take a break due to the fact that her numbers are within normal range. Her cancer will probably always kind of linger back and forth, but we're at a really good point. So 11.5 doing its magic, and that's what I came in for, right? So
that's incredible. Wow. Have you shared that?
not yet. No, I haven't, because we have a couple more numbers and different things coming. And that's a lot of mental for me to put into a thing quite yet. So
Yeah,
I'm getting there.
absolutely. That's powerful. And that's so nice to hear too. Thank you for sharing that. Naomi, how about you? What made you pique your interest?
Yeah, amazing testimonial, Rochelle. That was awesome. It was the financial part of it for me. But I feel like there's a lot of other high tickets that I was looking at, and this one just kind of fits my buyer the best because I really wellness is like where I am, but more of the changing the paradigm of health and how people see health. And the whole hustle culture is what I'm trying to break people from. And I feel like I always go back to like the chiropractor and my Reiki practitioner and how they just continuously show up all of the time. And the way that they make impact on money is they have to get more clients. They have to spend more time away from home. And so I feel like if I could get this machine, not only will they be able to better impact the health of their patients, but they'll also be able to work more from home and maybe not have to take on as many people and make a more of an impact. So I just thought it fit perfectly.
That's incredible. I love hearing what drew you guys in. Now, another hard question, and you can just kind of give me a yes or a no all at once, doesn't matter. Do you feel like you're touching on those pain points or exciting points that drew you in on your social media?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I had to say that. And I say yes because we have quite a few people that have known us that have reached out to us because they see the difference in what's happening, right? And that was like our goal, right? So they're like, they are on physically the water with us. So they're doing a warm side of it
Mhm.
versus like a cold side. But no, because I don't get emotional with it. I'm just salesy, get it up and get it moving because I'm trying to get the audience.
Right. Right. And that's a really good to look at because we always want to be constantly analyzing what we're doing, why we're doing it. Obviously, there's a lot of things that drew all of us in. It's not just a one part, but it sounds very collectively like that there always needs to be some type of emotion with that, like whether it's the water knowledge or that, that emotional testimony with that money in hand or whatever it is. And it's good to kind of just be reflective and go, am I showing all the sides that would have interested me? And constantly be asking yourself, like, who am I selling this to? I'm selling this to the person that me, who I was, the person I was interested in, because there's many more people like you. And those pain points or those good points are what drew you in. And those are the same things that are going to draw someone else in. So that's like a really good reminder to go, okay, what drew me in? Am I showcasing that? Is it enough? So I'll tie it back into belief. Now just show me guys with your, well, you can yell it out or with the fingers, show me, how confident do you feel in the business? Okay, Melissa's a 1.
Sorry, can
One,
you repeat
two.
it?
How
I'm sorry,
confident,
my earpiece
no
went out.
worries. How confident do you feel in the business comp plan?
Oh, I'm a 1.
Okay. Okay, Ariel's a 6.
I'm a 1 or a 2.
Okay. Okay, so that also helps me to know that what I could, share some more possible training with. It is an overwhelming like compensation plan, and yet you don't need like I said, you don't need to know everything. You need help when you start placing people and that type of thing for the hacks. But when we feel like we're less than a 5, then often, oh, did Naomi get kicked out? There we go. But often when we feel less than or not as confident as an 8, we're gonna tend to naturally not share that side, and it'll come across. And I've noticed too, I've been really trying to see what shows on my page better and whether it's the business side or the water. And it's very, interesting to see what gets more views and likes. And you kind of got to go with what is actually getting more action. But in the same time, I want people to still scroll my screen and get the other side of it too, right? Like you want a well balanced part of it. But the truth is, if we don't feel confident in something, we're probably not going to be drawing that across. And in the end, as much as how much I love this business because you can do it on your own, making passive income is pretty darn nice. So when you do attract those business builders, you're going to multiply just a heck of a lot quicker, right? And so I would love to see, like, that helps me too in thinking what kind of pop-ups next, because then we can
So I do have questions within that, Annalisa, because
Yeah.
I've had like 9 to 10 or more of all these digital marketer people in my inbox, but I have no idea how to turn around and be like, hey, buy my high ticket sales. That's water. So like just throwing that in there for training ideas, because I'm at a dead end road for myself with them where I talk about how I have a different type of high ticket item, but
Yeah.
I'm at a roadblock.
Okay. That's
I mean, they're sending me their earnings of 10,000 plus, so I know they can afford it, right? Like,
right. Right. And so how does you're asking for future how to spin that around and show them what you have?
yeah, well, so we talked about it, but how do I turn around, spin around and get them interested outside of the digital space, but not outside of it, but how to add it into their digital space due to the fact that they do courses, ebooks, and etc. That
Right.
this is, a generational wealth, etc. So like I'm in a blind zone and I'm in a block with all of these people, and they keep coming back for me. So I'm like, listen, you're going to be sold. I just got to figure out how.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, and I also want to talk about that more with you another time, but this might even help a little bit today just with our wording and how we even go through with what the K8 is, right? And what the business plan is. So I have two videos that I recorded of two different people explaining the compensation plan, and I liked listening to them because they're both totally different. And I thought I'd share them with you. And then we can also go over the machine. Well, maybe we could do the machine first. Does anybody feel confident in sharing and telling us what the K8 machine is and does? Does anyone want to try? Is anyone brave enough?
I can do it.
Okay, do it.
You mean just like telling you what the machine does and what
Yeah.
it's like,
So
right?
So
Like,
what is that water machine on your counter?
oh my gosh, that water machine on my counter has replaced my laundry soap. It's replaced my hair conditioner. It's replaced my daughter's hair conditioner. It's replaced her hair detangler. It's replaced my floor cleaner. It's replaced, I don't know, melatonin. It's replaced, I mean, it stopped my boyfriend from having a full-blown stroke where he went to bed and was fine and didn't no longer had a stroke, right? It, so basically, it's going to hydrate you beyond a point of hydration. It's going to get to that molecular level. It's going to hydrate your brain 80% faster than it's going to hydrate any type of water or any type of electrolyte that you can drink. It's going to provide any kind of disinfectant to antibacterial cleaners with your 2.5. It's also going to literally provide you a Drano with your 11.5 to a stove cleaner, taking off the oil within seconds. It's also going to be able to replace your laundry. If you add a little bit of 6.0 in there, you have fabric softener. I can go on a little bit longer if you would like me to, but there's just the gist, and we can talk more if you would like.
I love it. So yes, I like your angle. That's really good. Okay, anybody else? What would you say if someone asked, what is that thing on your counter? Ariel, what do you tell people?
I tell them that it changes the chemical formation of water. And so the water actually is able to absorb into our cells. It's like fitting a smaller circle into a square, and it works. And now we're hydrated, and it has like household uses. It's amazing. And the health benefits are just incredible.
Love it. That's really great. I won't pressure you, but if Melissa or Naomi want to try, you can. If not, you don't have to. You can say pass.
Yeah, I'll go on.
Okay.
So my water machine, what I have it for is that it actually changes the pH value of the water. So if we are too alkaline, that's when our bodies start getting sick. So we want to have a higher pH value in our water. And so what this does is I can actually change the pH to like an 8 all the way up to 9.5 for drinking. And since we've been doing that, it's helped with our health. So we're not getting as sick, or if we are getting sick, it's not as long duration as what a lot of other people are getting. And also we use it for a lot of other benefits, such as my headaches. If I feel a headache coming on, I'll do a really high alkaline water, and it takes away my headaches like pretty much within 5 minutes. So it's been a huge blessing to our family.
I love it. That's really good.
Yay. So I probably would say a lot of the stuff that they were saying here, but I'll just add something different. So for my buyer, it would be about the detoxing of the body and a lot of the inflammation that people feel. And so I have a child that was born with something called hydrocephalus, and he can't really manage the movement of the fluid in his brain. And so that issue comes up with like cognitive function, memory, behavioral issues, and things like that. And so with this water, we can really help to hydrate the body. And when I do find my scans and reports on clients, it always shows that they're dehydrated. Meanwhile, everyone says like, I drink half my body weight in water. Like I drink a gallon of water a day. Like, how can I possibly be dehydrated? And they're not really understanding the impact of the plastic, the water that they're drinking, the fake electrolytes that they're putting in these waters, and all those kinds of things. Like Ariel said, like on the cellular level, we are dehydrated as a whole, and this really does impact that and the brain.
So this was such a cool thing because you guys all said, like, you touched on very different parts, which was so incredible. And yet it does it all. And what's so neat is, I mean, we also have to have some common sense and intuition to who we're talking to, right? Like Naomi, this is what my audience wants. So I'm going to share this. I know this one's a brainiac. So I'm going to go a little more into detail. Well, actually there's 18 titanium dip plates and it electrically charges your water. You'll find that interesting. But for me, I love, you know, the 68 uses I can do in my household. I might skip that part. Or if I know a mom really needs this, I might go more into detail like Rochelle and go, you know what, this water does, look what it all does in my household, right? And, you know, we all have those different bits. So what I love is, I'm glad we're recording this because it's neat to go back and go, okay, next time I want to add a little more of that or a little more of that. And really getting to know who you're talking to. And obviously we have the topics that we love. I mean, I can hear Rochelle's excitement about what it all does in her house. And I can see Naomi's excitement about, you know, this is my client. I know exactly who I'm speaking to, right? And like, that's really cool to see. And I love that. You guys just described it really beautifully. And I've got to say, the group I was in, you kicked their butts like because when they're, I'm just saying, you did. You did a really good job of yeah, of explaining that, and that is awesome. Annie's joining us late. She just missed the Annie. You just missed the best explanation of the water, and don't you worry, this is recorded. And welcome here. That was so good, you guys. That would have sold me, and I think that's really important. I think I want to even go back and listen to all of yours because I think that was. Don't you feel like that's super helpful? Yeah, it is. And it makes you
This
excited.
is key for me. These things make me educated in ways that like I'm gonna see it, feel it, hear it, and I can replicate it. Like because I just took bits and pieces from every single one of you that I'm gonna turn around and put that into something. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like
Yes. And the key
100%.
too, for our own confidence, like, yes, we're going to be more, like I said, we're going to be more excited about what we are excited about, but all of a sudden when some things aren't working, you're like, you know what, I need to share more of that side of it. We also have to be reflective and go, okay, I like that. And again, knowing who your audience is, and I'm really only finding out who my audience is right now because it keeps changing. And right now my audience is not who I thought it was. So, I mean, when I'm one-on-one, obviously I can read the room and I know what parts to leave out, right? And I mean, Rochelle, right? You just shared all this detailed stuff about it, but you're going to read the room and know when someone isn't really about all that detail. And now you're like, okay, wait, I remember what Ariel said there. I'm going to share more of that side. And that's really where you start getting intuitive as a salesperson and keeping certain parts short, but giving a glimpse like, oh, it does 68 other uses and I can send you those later. It's replaced so many things, but you don't necessarily go into detail on that person, but on the next person you do, right? Okay, I love that. That makes me excited about the K8. So let's jump into the comp plan. So do you want to hear the recordings first, or do you want to just rather do what we just did here? Because I don't even have to play the recordings. I just thought it might be, or what I can do also is send them to you later just to hear other people's perspectives. So tell me what you guys prefer. I'll let you do it.
Yeah,
Can you
I'd
send them
love
later?
to have yeah, I'd love to listen to them, but
Okay,
maybe later.
We don't have to listen to them all together.
I was gonna say I love this dynamic, Annalisa, because there's so many calls when you go to training where it's like you just listen to someone and it's like one person talking the entire time. You just put us into action and like we just jump right into the hot water. Like that was awesome. I love it.
Oh, good. I love it. I love it. Well, I appreciate you being willing to jump in and show up. So thank you for that. Okay, well then let's do this exactly what we just did with the Kate. Let's do it with the business. Now this is going to be different because this is going to shift. You guys all had a very high. So Annie, just to fill you in, we asked the question, and how confident are you in sharing the water and how confident are you sharing in the business? And they were all a lot more confident in sharing about the water. And everybody's confidence is not so high in the business. So let's jump in and if someone did ask you, so why is this different? What would you focus on? And then we can talk about, get some ideas from each other. And then we can talk about some other things like what we would add. Ariel, you're up again. You're just first.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I would probably say I would start with why I switched over. So I switched over to a high ticket because it meant for me less pushing with small ticket items. I didn't need to sell as many products per month. I didn't need to keep asking the same people to quickly put their orders in. and I could just focus on making a good investment, a one-time purchase. And then I would probably go into, yeah, we don't have that monthly push. You don't have you don't derank. Like you can take you can take time off. You can take it slow. You can push it fast, however it works for you. And the business doesn't change according to that. And the sky's the limit. There's hacks along the way. There's so much detail if you really want to go into all the detail. But it's just a matter of less customers and still a good high payout.
Love it. That was awesome. Rochelle.
Sorry, I couldn't get unmuted.
No problem.
So I'm still working on this part because I'm still trying to understand it all. So I really just talk about the fact that it's not your typical multi-level marketing that you can come in and you can literally bring in generational wealth, because one machine you might sell will endlessly sell it with no work to be done, because that one machine is under a salesperson that just kills the game. And even if it's a $340 check to the highest check, it still matters kind of thing. And that's really where I'm at with it. I'm not good with the business side. So
Hey, no, that's awesome. That's a fabulous start. And you're going to get more tips and tricks here tonight is exactly what it's for. How about you, Melissa?
Sorry, I had the same issue. Couldn't get unmuted. So what I would say is that coming from an MLM marketing background, I've been in so many companies, and you have to push and push and push in order to try to get any kind of sales to cover your monthly payments in that you have to keep in order to stay enrolled. And I was tired of pushing and pushing and pushing, and especially with my friends and family, you can only push them so and so much before, they're just not gonna be interested in what you're pushing anymore. So I was really looking for a high ticket item to start. So I didn't have to push as hard. So one sale for me would equal to the same amount as 60 different people purchasing a product. So it was, that alone is the push for me, because when you start, you can get anywhere between $300 to $1,000 for your first sale, depending on the package that you purchase. And that is massive. Like, who wouldn't want to do one sale to cover a whole month of people's purchases with minimal work, at least compared to pushing to 60 sales, 60 other people that you got to talk to and deal with and try to get them to buy your product. So it's just kind of a no-brainer just to kind of go into the high ticket. So I didn't have to push as hard.
That's awesome. Love it. Naomi?
I got off mute. So I would talk about three things. So it's income streams, it's the system, and it's impact. So many people now are used to this 9 to 5. We have one job, we have one income stream, and we're constantly living in this like space of, oh my gosh, I can't pay for anything, right? And so with this, it's an opportunity to have this little nest egg where you're having all this, your money is coming from different areas of life. And so if one is not working, another one can be. And so I think that is so important to help set people up financially for their futures. And the system, and I'll tie it into Business in a Box, because coming from that MLM background, it's like there is no process. It's like you're constantly running against the wind and you're never really making an impact on your life and other people's life. And you're just completely depleted and exhausted at the end of the month, And so you really only have like one good week in a month that you're like vibing and you're high, and like you're really going for it, because all the rest of the time you're just so crippled with this like anxiety. And so I think that getting that out of that hustle mentality, this is amazing, because we have that system where we can build from our cold market, we can send out trainings, we can send out communications and all that kind of stuff. And then the impact, like we were talking about the generational wealth, like why would someone not want to set up their family that way? Because I know, like for me, my parents, they didn't own their own home. They didn't have their own businesses. And now the things that I'm learning through working with the team that we have, you're learning so much that my kids already, my 10-year-old could probably set up a business right now and sell the Kangen water machine, right? Like, so, and that's what it's about. It's about like teaching them and training them and really making that impact for your family.
Love it. That's awesome. Annie, do you want to share or do you want to pass? I know you're driving, so you just let us know.
I'm gonna pass because
Okay.
I will repeat everything everyone said.
No worries. No worries. So okay, so I'm just trying to think too, was there anything that missed that I would try to share? If I'm explaining the business too, I definitely go towards the network marketing side of things and saying how it's different because that's our personal experience and that's who my target audience really is. And it sounds to me like all your target audiences are that as well. I also try to touch on just some of those differences that for people who are tired of running a team or, relying on people to get your ranks up there is really, this can be done all by your own sales, but it doesn't have to be. So I really like to highlight that because some people are tired. They don't want to be training a team. They don't want to do all of that, but yes, you can still make passive income. So I usually try to point that out too. You can literally get to the top of this company with your own personal sales and that's unheard of anywhere else. And that's a really big key to promote. And then obviously the legacy money. And when we say legacy money, people think, well, everybody says that because it's what companies say. No, my first company cut me off when I quit and it wasn't residual income for life. It was not. And this is literally willable to your children. And when you hit 682-3 and on, you can have up to 6 accounts. You can be making $5,000 to $20,000 retirement money that's insanity. And that to me is the ultimate goal when you start hitting those bonuses within the company and legacy ranks. And I guess too, the other, like the main parts that you guys shared, the no de-ranking and things like that. So I think you guys hit a lot of good topics and I'm going to post, we have 3 minutes left on here. So I'll be really quick here. I'm going to post those 2 videos. Where should I post them, ladies?
Could we maybe start an Enagic chat so that way if we have like sales and different things, we
Yes.
can encourage each other as well as like,
Sure.
hey, did you guys know this and try
Yes,
this?
we had one, but I can maybe even start a new one. I'll pop them in there and I will make sure you guys all know. And a couple of things to end on here, like this was great practice and I want you guys to get confident in both, that you can give a short but sweet, not too descriptive, not too crazy, because there's times for that. And you guys are set up with Business in a Box. You have the funnels to do all the hard work. So to really captivate the things that caught you in the beginning and what those are, and then you can touch on those and obviously reading your market. It sounds to me like you guys, your target audience, really, a lot of you here is typical network marketers. So when you are posting, are you talking to them? Are you specifically talking to them when you're posting? Ask yourself that. And then I want to know, are you telling your story? Are you sharing that personal side of your story? Because that's what people are going to be attracted to. And when you can incorporate little bits of this business, like you just did confidently with me, you said your level was down at like 1, 2, whatever, but it didn't sound like it to me. It sounded like you knew what you were talking about. Yes, you might not understand, and you don't have to break down the 8-point comp plan. That's what the video is for, that we send them later, right? And so I want you guys to leave here feeling like, no, I've got some ideas, things I can add, shift around, things that maybe I'm talking a little too much about this. That's not what interests everybody. How do you do it in a way that you can know your target audience, feel confident, because people are going to feel that. They feel it. And what are we missing out on? What are we holding back? And I think you guys kind of took some really good self-evaluation too. Like, what am I holding back about? And Rochelle, we're going to get you that. We're going to get you confident in that business side and to message those people so that you feel very confident and can turn any situation around and go, okay, but let's look at this, right? And also, like we said, have some of that heavy lifting done for us. And so we can go out there and just say our little bits, get people interested. And I'm going to encourage you guys, share your personal story, attach it to this. I'd love to see this next week, and I'm going to have less than a minute. So sorry if I cut off. I'd love to see you incorporate a little bit of why did you do this? People resonate with that. And it's simple stuff. Even an elevator speech, it's like we've done it a million times, but really we have to do it again and reevaluate and remember, like, we have times where our belief is down and you know what? No, I need to jack it back up in this area. I'm not talking about it because I'm scared, because I don't feel confident, but you actually, I would never have known that you haven't been selling this forever, and what you said was awesome. So thank you for sharing and being willing, and thank you that we can grab little bits and learn from each other. And if this is helpful. I have no problem doing pop-ups a little more often. And let's go kick some ass and make some stories and turn some hearts over and drag them in and sell them some water.